In a recent survey by YouGov, poor parenting was cited as one of the most pivotal causes of the social unrest in London and across the UK, along with criminal behaviour and gang culture. With part of the blame being placed on broken families, what is then left for a generation of single parents bringing up their children in what David Cameron calls pockets of our broken, sick society?
The issue is that the government doesn't want us to hit children. The government doesn't want us to be too hard on our children. And the problem with that is nobody really knows where they stand anymore. Lots of people are frightened to discipline their children, and there's a huge amount of guilt with being a parent anyway. You know, one thing I will say is that being a parent, you spend most of your time feeling guilty. Whatever you do, there's always a part of you afterwards, upon reflection, that will go, I could have done that a bit better, or I could have done it like this. And we are frightened to discipline our children. A lot of people are frightened. They don't know how they should do it or what is right. And I think the issue is with every child, with every parent, with every situation, there are no hard or fast rules.
If a parent, for instance, is afraid to discipline their child because the child will say, well, actually, you know, if you do that, then I can call the police. And my 5-year-old has done, and I burst out laughing. I thought it was hysterical because he said it when he was about 4. He pointed out the window and said, I'm going to call a policeman. And I just burst out laughing. I'm like, where do you even get that from? I don't even know where you picked up from. I have no, it's not something that we talk about in home. It's not a choice. If mummy does this and you can go and do it. It's not a choice. It's not an option. But children have this option. They have a choice. And I think that undermines your parenting, completely undermines what you're able to do, and how you're able to parent, because there's all of a sudden there's this limitation. You can go this far. If it goes any further, then you know you have to get your child can take it somewhere else. And didn't have that in my time. Didn't. I've never. I wouldn't have even considered speaking to my mother in that way. Society
and the value is not disciplined. Then how can the system work? And that's why we always see that Britain is probably falling behind in terms of teenage pregnancy, in terms of children's unhappiness. And one of the reports in 2007 by UNICEF showed that out of 21 most developed countries, Britain came 21st in children's happiness. So it doesn't bode well for Britain. In my opinion, family should be at the heart of our social reconstruction. A marriage-based family that is based on love, consultation, respect, problem solving, they are probably the best answer. And marriage may have problems, but in every society there are always problems. But the other systems that we recently are seeing have got more difficulties and more problems because there is no responsibility, there is no bond or binding between two human beings.
With parental values playing a vital role in the beginning stages of a child's life, it is undeniable that education is also instrumental in shaping our young people, playing a key part in leading young citizens away from the negativity surrounding the riots.
The lesson we learn from these riots and from what's going on in our society today is that we don't drop citizenship education from our national curriculum. So we call on the government to look again at their national curriculum review. We know they're going to be reviewing education policy as part of a response to the riots. We'd ask them to look again and to make sure citizenship education is a part of the future and our statutory curriculum going forward.
I taught in Tottenham, and as people may be aware, Haringey is one of the poorest boroughs in the country, not just in London, in the country. So as a teacher from Tottenham, I was quite appalled at the scenes in Tottenham in this supposed to be a community and area. I taught in a school that is fantastic in that we didn't have any behavioural issues, even though we're dealing with kids from that area. They had a motto called REACH, which was about respect and enthusiasm and attitude and cooperation and hard work. And just having that sort of idea, you walked around the corridors and, you know, kids opened doors and they were happy about their learning, and it was that sort of environment I think we need to feed out into all our community, rather than making something more negative out of this negativity through the riots. I think we need to look at positive reinforcement. We need to show these young people that, no, this is your community, you need to care about it. And rather than sending them to jail, you need to get them doing community service within their community so that they can actually see. They need to talk to people who've lost everything and so that they can understand what the result of the rioting is. And I think if we do that, and then we can have a positive spin on such a terrible situation.